welcome to Scrolling with Ceazor. Today is January 27th, 2026. I've got a lot of tweets for you today, but before that, let's get our disclaimer. This is not financial advice. This is all just my own personal biased opinions based on the information I've selected off of X. Okay, so let's kind of go through it. So first we'll start with this chart. ETH looks like it's starting to recover its sell-off from the Sunday or Monday, early Monday morning or what have you. It's looking okay. My positions are all right, I think, on Carbon and Uniswap there. They're still doing all right, I guess. I'm not sure if I should move anything quite yet. I'm going to leave it. Gold has recovered that loss or that crazy day yesterday of a huge pump and then a huge dump that was all over the news. It's pretty amazing. I can imagine the people who got in down here with size, like around 3,000, and now it's up around 5,000. That's pretty amazing. Yeah, so anyhow, that's those two things. The only things I really want to talk about there. You can take with that as you wish. Let's move on to some tweets. So here we have liquidity. I talked about liquidity yesterday. I'm going to talk about liquidity probably every day in February or so, as long as there's some news to talk about. So S-Bold is now on Pendle again. So Pendle has these, like, if you don't know how Pendle works, Pendle has like term deposits where, you know, you would deposit for 3 months or 90 days, 3 months, right? Or, you know, something like that. And then after that 90 days, they have to kind of refresh the system, the market, okay? So there's a new S-Bold Pendle market. You can, you know, check out some PTs. I like to go to Pendle and just check the PTs because it's like a fixed rate. And if it's sometimes, you know, people exit their positions or they buy into a position or something like this, different ways, but they end up pumping the PTs up, so the interest rate becomes quite substantial. So if you just check it every day, you can kind of consider whether or not you want to do it. If you want just more of those airdrops, you can hold the yield tokens, right? Yield tokens will expire worthless, so you got to make sure you understand it. Or you can provide liquidity and you'll get basically all of the goods and plus a little bit of trading fees from people swapping between yield tokens, PT tokens, and so forth. Okay, so you can check it out. S-Bold is now on Pendle again, so maturity is June. So if it's a fixed rate, but it's also fixed term, right? So you have to. It's not something you want to get into and then exit and get into and exit all the time, unless there is a little bit of arbitrage there for you. Moving on. So Makina, I've been following Makina because I did have a small deposit with them and was influenced by this incident on the curve pool. I did talk about it in the past and how kind of there's some like wizardry here. You can read through this article. It kind of explains everything that's happened and kind of future compensation. The only really new news in here is that the team and Dialect are committed to recovering everybody almost completely. So they're going, so it says, to that end, Makina and Dialect will each contribute 50% of their respective revenue earned from the 3 live machines to recover to the recovery fund until recovery is complete. So they've got a lot of ways where they're trying to recover the money and where they've successfully recovered it. So they recovered it from the MEV who like front run the exploiter. Rocket Pool gave back some that they could, that wasn't like already distributed to and calculated into the Rocket Pool RETH valuation. Some of the arbitrageurs who basically bought the DUSD dip, some of them gave back a share of that as well. There's some addresses here that they're trying to contact to see if they can work a deal with them to get more back. And then, like I said, the team and the Dialect team are committed to getting everybody back their juice. I still don't quite understand how it works, like how that exploit works. It doesn't explain that, but that's more in the future. Okay, so they're going to explain that when that comes out. And there's a clear, I don't know why there's not a clear understanding right now, or why they haven't shared that quite yet. I'm not sure. Maybe they got to deal with the curve to make sure, you know, everyone is safe and stuff like that. You don't want to tell everybody how how something was exploited when it could maybe contaminate other protocols. Let's move on. So here we have Edgy. I love it when he posts, because he's very thoughtful, and he's sharing some stuff that I'm going to kind of share with you. Okay, so Edgy says, perp trading is brutal. 90% of traders lose money. I agree with him. I've given myself a promise that 2026 I will not do any perp trading, even though, you know, it's tempting. It can be lucrative, but I have realized that, you know, in the long run, I know I don't make it. I can't do it, so I don't do it anymore. But he does say there's a cheat code that most people know about. Profitable wallets and hyperlink are fully visible. So here's 3 tools that you can use if you are going to be doing some perp trading. So HyperTracker tracks millions of hyperlink wallets and buckets them to size and profitability. HyperDash just dropped their version 2 trading terminal with copy trading baked in, so you can copy trade wallets. I'm not too keen on doing that, but anyhow. TrySuper offers similar tracking and copy trading, but with more control. So if you are thinking of like playing the perp game, and you feel like, you know, without leverage, it's just not worth your time, or you're just not gonna make it, then you can check out those 3 things that he's sharing and kind of decide whether or not that's something you want to do. I will always caution you, perps are extremely dangerous in the sense of, I used to convince myself that like perp trading was a good way to keep my eyes on the chart. You know, like if I'm perp trading, then I'm pulled into the charts, and then I can manage my liquidity positions as well, because I have to look at the charts every day because I'm perp trading. But it doesn't, I can just look at the charts without perp trading. So that's kind of what I've done this year, and I've decided to do that myself. You do you, and you do what you want to do, and whatever you think is good. Okay, moving on. Quotable Crypto. He says this is criminal. There's a guy who follows me and interacts with me once in a while, and I believe I follow him as well. He's a good guy. His name is Smokin' Ted. He's got a crazy haircut, and so he's got a quote from him. It says, "Do good, help people, don't expect anything in return." It's pretty true. Like you got to kind of ask. I've been learning that like in 2026, my ethos, my change of personality is to start asking for money, basically, for some of the things I'm doing. I've kind of hoped that, the gods or karma will kind of help me out with that, but I've noticed that it's so easy in this space to get distracted that if you don't like ask, then they just kind of forget. Like they just like if for example, like if like say I am depending on like donations for kind of sustaining my YouTube channel the way I was doing it, that I found, people might want to donate, but then they're like, I'll do it later, and then they just forget about it because everybody's just bombarded with so much information all the time, every day. And, they're running protocols, they have communities, they've got, investors, they've got all kinds of stuff to deal with. They got to do their market research. So it just, I'm trying to convince myself to kind of be that squeaky wheel a little bit, but try to be tasteful about it. Okay, moving on. So Zach XBT has replied to a Doge Designer. Doge Designer is like a viral. He's got like 1.8 million followers. I don't know how he could possibly get this, but I think he's just been retweeted by Elon a few times, and just that's why he's up there with that many. I don't know how you get 1.8 million followers on X. But anyways, he says, try XChat. It's better than WhatsApp. I think everything is better than WhatsApp in regards to so XChat has end-to-end encryption, no third-party dependencies, no advertisings. supports text transfers, audio calls. X never reads or sells your chats. You can make calls without sharing your number. So that's pretty interesting. So X chat, I haven't really tried it too much. Like, of course, I've used X messages, but I haven't really gone to X chat. Now, Zach XBT replies to that and says, I would use X chat more if the current issues were addressed. So here are the issues he thinks they have. So search function does not work for legacy DMs. So like, you've got old messages with old people in the old system. So messages as opposed to chat, and you cannot, search through your history, right? Because you can only search through the new XChat history in the XChat app. Still receive messages and alerts even after muting accounts. So yeah, if I mute somebody, I don't want their messages to be a blue dot for me. That's what he's saying. Cannot sort chats into folders or filters. Cannot search or filter message requests. No way to quickly scroll to messages for specific time period. And time period displays as weeks versus date. Okay, so that's pretty interesting. He's got some specific feedback, and because Doge Designer is such a prominent KOL, I guess I don't know. Like, the guy gets only at 800 following. I don't know how he does it. He must be bought it, but I don't know. That maybe I'm assuming. So yeah, so he's like, yeah, here's some feedback, and then I just replied, are you mostly using Telegram? Okay, next news. So USDT Tether has dropped a new coin called USAT, and this is pretty crazy. You can watch this video. It's pure just legacy media bullshit. It doesn't give you any real information. Just kind of like everybody smiling, happy, American flags, just this ridiculousness, right? And USAT. So the digital dollar that moves at an internet speed, always 1-to-1, instant, borderless. Okay, and someone replied to it, Trader X. He's like, this is complete poison. Everyone seeing this should be worried. Tether making a digital dollar again. This time federally regulated means we have gone a huge step in the wrong direction. Our money will officially be controlled in ways worse than before. So he's basically equating this to a central bank digital currency in his mind, I think. And there is definitely that possibility. Like, why would Tether release a new stablecoin when they have USDT and it's the highest market cap stablecoin in all of crypto? Why would they do that? Why would they have a second one? Why wouldn't they just make the first one compliant with US regulations? Well, why? Because it can't be. There must be some controls in there that USDT just simply can't stop, cannot add. They can't add code to USDT that's already deployed all over the place. So there must be something inside this code that makes it compliant in ways that USDT is not. Okay. Maybe there's some other kind of stuff like, the use of USDT in like Iran or something like that, so maybe there's some government sanctions. It says it's borderless, but maybe it's semi-borderless, right? I don't know. So maybe someone's going to come out with like some sort of real look at it and kind of see what's what and what's hidden under the hood. I'm not going to skim through all the code and try to figure it out. So Gabriel Haynes replies to it with his kind of shit. He's just basically saying, what makes it what makes a stable coin made in America? And he's like asking like just silliness, but it's true. Like, this is like a US made, like USA Tether coin. Like, really, like, I don't, to me, it's like, I feel they already are the biggest stablecoin. Why they need to do this? Like, I think I don't want to go around in circles. I think I've covered what my thoughts on this. Will it be worthless? No, I don't think so. Will they support it? Unquestionable. Like, will it get utility and use? Probably. Let's move on. Okay, so Ignis DeFi, and replied by Michael from Curve. Ignis is basically bad-mouthing like he likes to kind of bring like the crud to the surface basically, and I like, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, like that's a service. Like what he's doing is showing you like the shit that's hidden underneath, right? So you can kind of read through his tweet, and he's retweeting an article by Pink Brains, and it says DAOs in 2025, major shifts and trends in 2026. So that's what the article. I haven't read this article yet. I just kind of looking at the tweets that are related, that are a result of this article. So Ignis says Uniswap realigned the DAO with the labs. Jupiter paused governance for 6 months. Scroll shut its DAO down basically. Indeed, DAOs are governed by few. Incentives for delegates dry out, and many are closing shops. On the flip side, value accrued to tokens increased. Lido adopted the buyback framework. Uniswap burnt 600 million in Uni and turned flea switch on. Fluid and Aave both turned on buybacks. Cow protocol increased solver profitability. Interim cooked on this one. So maybe I'll read this article. Michael's response to this is, you may also miss cases where Curve and Aave late in the year, where the DAOs essentially showed that they control the protocols, not the companies. Lots of drama, but actually that was by design. So I remember Aave having that issue with the front end, trying to, and then the DAO, I guess based on, I didn't see how that ended actually, but based on what he's saying, I guess the DAO won over, and the front end is, those front end fees are now going to the DAO instead of just to the labs. I guess maybe someone can comment on this and tell me what actually happened. And I don't really recall Curve's drama with their DAO, where the labs was trying to do something and the DAO took over and said, no, you can't do that. I'm not sure. Let's move on. Capped up money, or cap money. It's pretty, I talked about this the other day, the homestead program. They're like basically more points. I'm super biased on this because I farmed a decent amount of cap points, and I want this protocol to succeed because of that, as well as because of its design ideas. I like it. You can watch my video to understand how it works better, or you can go check out their documentation. Today they crossed 500 million in TVL. This milestone comes as the homestead program is about to begin. If you missed qualifying for a stable drop, this is your next chance. There never been a better time to be a part of CAP. Okay, so you can check it out and decide whether or not you think it's cool and worth some of your capital. I'm not suggesting you to buy anything. This is a farming stablecoin farm, so consider it. DeFi app. I want to talk about this because DeFi app is one of the few apps that I farmed Kaito yaps for, and I thought it was pretty cool. I thought the idea was nice. And I've checked it out. They continue to develop it. It's not worthless. This tweet is basically saying that now they have an iOS version, so you can download an Apple app on your Apple phone. So links to it and stuff like that. But I've stopped using it for the most part. I still have my wallet and a couple $100 worth of like just some tokens in there that I need to recover before I could send them out and sell them, but I've just left them in there. I've got a whole bunch of like their token, and it's kind of like I kind of got disappointed with it. Like basically I used it, so I got tokens for using it, I got tokens for yapping, and they went into a contract, and they're locked in this contract, and the only way for me to get them out is to actively trade on it. So I have to pay basically trading fees above the gas fees and trading fees that the liquidity positions. So like let's say I do a swap, and it's like on the same chain. It's going to pay the trading fees to the liquidity positions that are on Uniswap or Aerodrome or wherever they are. But then I also have to pay trading fees on top of it for this DeFi app, just for the convenience of the utility of the user experience. And I don't need this, like I'm comfortable just going to Uniswap or, even using a DEX aggregator and stuff like that. And so I have to pay trading fees on top of my trading fees to slowly unlock the tokens that I got for yapping. And I feel like it's just too much. Like they're asking too much of me for this. They should have just given me my tokens. They could vest them. I don't mind vesting them, but not forcing me to like continue to pay in order to get the tokens that I earned from using and yapping. So I kind of feel a little bit disappointed with this, and I wanted to share this with you guys because I did yap a lot about this. I did share what I was doing on this, and what I was doing was I was trading interest-bearing stablecoins on the chart inside this protocol or inside this app, and I was sharing that for quite a while. So anyways, that's that. I just wanted to share that so that I'll get a little transparency on that and why I haven't been talking about DeFi app anymore. Okay, so here we have Herbert. So Beefy is a great way to get auto-compounded version of Curve's best yielding LPs through StakeDAO. So StakeDAO is pretty cool. I use it for sure. And so there are like 15 of StakeDAO vaults that are now live on Beefy. So 2.5 million ATVO. So Beefy is a great way to deposit because they compound everything for you. You don't have to like decide what to do with tokens. They're just gonna basically dump everything for you, right? In a controlled manner and in a manner that gets you the best rates and stuff for your farming rewards. Now, StakeDAO, the benefit of StakeDAO is they have a huge curve, a VECRV position, so they get a very nice boost on their rewards, but they don't auto compound for you. You have to claim them and then decide what you want to do with those things, and that can sometimes lead to gas fees and waste. So Beefy will socialize those gas and allow you to get StakeDAO's boost and do nothing pretty much, and you can just sit inside there with those. I think these are pretty good vaults in the sense that like these are not like these are what I would consider set and forget for the most part, because like StakeDAO and Beefy are not going anywhere, and the farm curve is not going anywhere either. So it's not something that you have to monitor like crazy and be like, oh, the APR has gone down too much, or the team is going to shut down the front end or anything like this. You don't have to worry about this stuff. So I think it's worth checking out, and it's definitely worth sharing. Okay, moving on. Today I'm going to talk about Flying Tulip. This is pretty cool. Now the whitelist and intent-based is not quite live yet, so we'll call it kind of the public sale is not live yet. But as soon as they sold some put options, these Flying Tulip put options on that impossible thing. I talked about it a few days ago, sometime last week, I can't remember. And now they've put out this marketplace. So now you can, because some put options are out there now, you can now trade your put options in this marketplace. So the marketplace allows you to go. You can exit still. Like I have a video that explains how these put options work, and they're basically you deposit any of the tokens that are acceptable, right, into the NFT, and later, anytime you want, you can take your tokens back, or you can give up your tokens and take the Flying Tulip tokens out. So you can it's basically like a bet on both tokens. If you're using stable coins, then it's a different story. But let's say you're using Sonic tokens or ETH, right? And you put some, say, ETH into these put options, and then now you can compare which one is growing faster. So maybe ETH grows slowly and Flying Tulip pumps like crazy. Then you can pull the Flying Tulip tokens out and sell them, or do with or put them to work inside. Let's say the Flying Tulip has massive amounts of revenue, and you stake it and you can get your share of the revenue. So then you get great APR or something like that. I don't know, right? So it's pretty cool. The revenue right now on this is already like almost the same as Monad, and it's not even live yet. Like it's just because the way these put options work, like your underlying asset is put to work. So like if you put in USDC, it might get sent to Aave or Morpho or something like that, and it's earning yield for the protocol. Now, this is how the protocol works. The Flying Tulip did not give any tokens to the team. The team is only paid from the yield that your put option is producing, and it's like there's some buybacks and stuff like that. I can't exactly picture the system in my head because I didn't refresh my memory, so I'll have to watch the video. But I do have a video of how Flying Tulip actually works and how these put options and how this yield is sent through. It's basically everything's basically buying the Flying Tulip token. Okay, so there's tons of buybacks on the Flying Tulip token based on all of this, all of the fees generated and stuff. I think it's pretty interesting. So you can check it out. Like those public sale things are still not live yet. So, but they've dropped this tech about how to trade your put options. So when those people who did participate in Impossible can trade their put options already, and if you participate, if you weren't able to get into the whitelist or pass that test, then you can go to this Flying Tulip marketplace, and buy put options off people who are selling them. I don't know what kind of premium they'll have or anything like that. Okay, so moving on, I believe I talked about the Makino one already. I don't know why it's there twice. And the last one here is something I want to share about from this guy, Elegant. He's a new guy for me, so I'm going to follow him. I didn't want to click that follow. And so he took he's obviously a dev. He wrote some scripts and he just hammered the crap out of both Rise Chain and Mega ETH. And he's got an article here that basically outlines the methodology of what he did and the results of what he did. So he sent 1,200 transactions across 3 measured modes to see what's actually true. And you can read through all the data, but he says that like Rise wins on all metrics. I'm trying to find exactly where he said it. You can read it and kind of get an understanding of what's going on. Rise is I believe it's a fantastic design chain. It's going to be fast. It's going to be super. It doesn't have the clout or the huge amount of like capital investment and hype as Mega ETH, and it might come out later than Mega ETH. But I like the guys at Rise, and I'm more than happy to support them in ways of sharing what they're building and so forth, and that's it. I guess so that's it. Thanks so much for listening. Oh, I got one more. So Bojam is he's spending a lot of time talking about privacy and how to clean your wallet and make yourself private. And I think it's important. So he's sharing here in this tweet, he shares 2 things. He shares Fluid Key and ZXP2P. So, and then a third way, how to set up a clean wallet. So Fluid Key is for sending and receiving funds. So you can tell people, hey, send me money here. And they give you a free ENS. Each time you send and receive, they generate a new address for you, and all controlled by your ENS. Super easy. So yeah, if you want to kind of, privatize your income, or especially if someone's sending you a large amount of money and you don't want anybody to know that or where that money is gone, you can use this Fluid Key. This ZK P2P for off and on ramping via Revolut and Venmo. You can check out that one as well. And then he also talks about set up a clean wallet. So he says do a token XMR to token swap via non-KYC exchange. So maybe ThorSwap or something, right? BTC and many other ERCs are supported. Important, set up a clean receiving wallet. Let your funds sit in XRME for 24 hours plus and don't send the exact same amount. So he's basically kind of trying to help people to clean up their OPSEC, so people don't know, especially if you're doxxed and your name is out there, then you might want to really consider doing this for your own safety and for your privacy. Like it's not like you're a criminal and you're trying to clean stolen money. It's just you're protecting yourself from everybody knowing exactly what you've got. Okay, so I guess that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this has been useful and interesting, and goodbye.